Greetings and salutations. If you're like me, then you've been looking forward to 2021 for many reasons. One of which, if you're a tabletop gamer, you know there's quite a bit of games for you to look forward to this year. Here are 10 anticipated TTRPGs coming in 2021. And before we get down to the nitty-gritty, here are some quick ground rules for the picks. Number 1 has to be scheduled for release in 2021. Number 2 can't be a supplement, adventure module, or accessory. Number 3 has to be a finalized physical release. So without further ado, let's get down to it. Legends of Greyskull, Masters of the Universe. From the Legends of Greyskull website, in the Legends of Greyskull tabletop role-playing game, players can customize or create characters to overcome high-stake challenges and find epic fun in Eternia, a world where magic meets technology. The experience brings together the core role-playing game, a digital companion and toolset, a community content creation and sharing platform, and an organized play program that gives fans the opportunity to participate in a connected living story with other players around the world. Using the Cortex Prime rule system, in which players use different types of dice depending on the level of expertise with different traits. Gamers will now have the power to take on the roles of the heroes and villains of Eternia. As revealed in the recent Masters of the Universe comic book series, Masters of the Multiverse, there are many different versions of Eternia, which players can draw their inspirations from, which includes the classic He-Man cartoon, She-Ra, Princess of Power, the 1987 live-action Masters of the Universe movie, the 2002 remake He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the 2018 animated She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and the upcoming Masters of the Universe Revelation, just to name a few. Root. Based on the board game Root, a game of Wulin might and right from Magpie Games and officially licensed by Leader Games. Last year on Kickstarter, it was funded by over 6,000 backers who pledged over $600,000. Players take on the roles of vagabonds and outcasts of the woodlands who adventure through the forest while a war rages in the background. This TTRPG uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system. Players can create a character using one of several vagabond archetypes and roll 2 6-sided dice to determine successes. Quick Start Rules has been released, so if you want to get a preview, check it out. If you're a fan of properties such as Redwall and Mouseguard, then Root might be the game for you. Good Strong Hands. This is a low-prep micro RPG about fey creatures and their human allies who are fighting to save their world from the Void, a faceless, malevolent force that threatens to consume it. If you haven't caught onto it yet, Good Strong Hands is inspired by the movie franchise The Neverending Story. Players can play fey or human characters and use 2-page character playbooks that will have a handful of things for them to fill out and some choices to make, all of which can be done in a couple of minutes. It uses a collaborative world-building system that's said to be simple, which you can learn in about 5 minutes. This system uses 6-sided dice against target numbers of 4 to 6. A quick start PDF of the game has been released if you want to check it out. The Dark Crystal Adventure Game. Joining the previously released Labyrinth adventure game is the Dark Crystal adventure game, from publisher Riverhorse and by Janet Forbes and Jack Caesar. It's their second entry of easy-to-play RPGs, which features simple rules, a GM toolkit, and a 200-page campaign set in the world of Jim Henson's 1982 Dark Crystal movie and 2019 Age of Resistance Netflix series. The book itself will also contain extended fold-out pages, transparency overlays, and a fully illustrated map of Thera. The release date for this game is set for sometime this year. Hearts of Wulin. This is a tabletop role-playing game of wuxia melodrama by Agatha Chang and Lowell Francis, with illustrations by Minerva Fox, in which players take on the role of skilled martial artists in a world of rival clans, conspiracies, and obligations. It is inspired by films such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Chinese wuxia TV series like The Smiling Proud Wanderer, and Chinese martial arts novels from the second half of the 20th century. Hearts of Wulin uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system and is influenced by other Powered by the Apocalypse games such as Monster Hearts 2 by Avery Adler, Mass by Brandon Conway, and The Veil by Fraser Simmons. Players can choose from 6 playbooks, which includes the Aware, the Bravo, the Loyal, the Outsider, the Student, and the Unorthodox, that's inspired by some of the common tropes of the wuxia genre. Another feature here is a signature move that will help define and add flavor to your character. 将士, Blood in the Banquet Hall, is a collaborative storytelling game about a Chinese family who runs a restaurant in one of America's Chinatowns during the 1920s, and despite societal backlash and anti-Chinese laws, their business has flourished. But when the sun goes down, the night brings an old terror. Look, I'm not going to lie when I say that I was personally excited when I heard about this game. Players will take on the roles of 3 generations of family members who are mostly from the Guangdong province of China, as they deal with racism by day and the hopping vampires known as 将士 by night. The game can be played as a series of mini-sessions or a one-shot, as each day alternates between day and night scenes. 将士, Blood in the Banquet, combines the roleplay of TTRPGs and elements similar to board games. A standard day phase will involve the GM presenting the players with a series of restaurant cards that they must attempt to complete before the end of the day, with a limited number of hours available to them. The family's oldest member must carefully delegate cards to ensure that they finish as many as they can. Any unfinished restaurant cards can result in any number of consequences for the family, alongside covering up important slots on the restaurant board. During the night phase of the game, players will encounter the 将士, who will attempt to attack family members in order to give them cards and eventually turn them into one of the undead. Players can evade or immobilize these creatures by creating spirit papers, which are made from a collective thought about the family's resilience and love for one another. Worldwide Wrestling, the role-playing game, 2nd edition. Ever wanted to get into the ring and lay a smackdown on your opponent? Now you can with Worldwide Wrestling, the role-playing game, 2nd edition. This is the updated edition of the Worldwide Wrestling RPG that was originally published in 2015 and combines all the materials from the original game: the International Incident Supplement, the Road Supplement, Extended Universe gimmicks, and more. It's all streamlined and updated to get you into the ring and ready to throw hands or cut a vicious promo. So if you're a fan of the WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact, Ring of Honor, or any other wrestling promotion, you'll want to get in on this. You can tell a story of epic feuds, heart-wrenching betrayals, awesome come-from-behind victories, and more as you stand on the grandest stage of them all. So, what has been updated, you ask? Well, the basic moves has been redesigned around the principle of smoothing out the momentum economy. Play politics has been introduced to represent backstage confrontations. A core roster of gimmicks has been expanded from 10 to 15. Rules for what the wrestlers do between events, from the local media to seeing family, has been brought in and revised, and much more. It's time to tell your story and book your matches. Dune: Adventures in the Imperium. Based on the 1965 sci-fi series by Frank Herbert, Dune: Adventures in the Imperium is set in the far-off future where fear is the mind killer. Developed and published by Mofidus, the core rulebook that includes 3 collector's edition covers is expected to get its physical release in 2021, along with custom dice and other gaming accessories around April 2021. Just in time for the much anticipated Dune movie that's set to release in October. Players will do battle on the planet Arrakis, where spice is the most important substance in the universe, and Arrakis is the only place to get it. Choose from different factions that includes House Atreides, House Hokkaidan, and Imperial House Carino using the Modafis 2D20 system to deal in deadly duels, feudal politics, and mysterious abilities. Control the spice, control the universe. Power Rangers 5e. It's Morphin time! Power Ranger fans will soon be able to take on the mantle of power via TTRPGs. Late last year, Renegade Game Studios announced that they have partnered up with Hasbro to develop a Power Rangers tabletop role-playing game that's compatible with the 5th edition D&D rules, which in a press release was said that the 5th edition at this point is the common language in TTRPGs. Back in 2019, Renegade Game Studios released the board game Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, which was pretty more phenomenal. Now, with a new movie in the works, a new series coming soon, awesome action figures, amazing comics, and not to mention the Sentai series from Japan, it's a pretty good time to be a Power Rangers fan. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty hyped to live out my childhood dreams of being a Power Ranger. Now, the next question is, what color? Werewolf the Apocalypse, 5th edition. It's time to howl at the moon and defend Gaia against the worm in Werewolf the Apocalypse, 5th edition. Back in 2018, we return to the world of darkness with the release of Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Now, in 2021, gamers will take on the role of the Garou, blessed and cursed with primal rage and tasked to fight and die for the very earth itself in a game of modern horror. Vampire the Masquerade has become exceedingly popular in the last couple of years thanks to the official LA by Night livestream game and Bloodlines 2 video game. With the upcoming Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood video game set to drop in February, it won't be surprising that the new edition of Werewolf the TTRPG will become just as popular. By the way, if there's going to be a Werewolf livestream game, I want in. Werewolf will continue to explore radical environmental activism through a dark and distorted reflection of our own world. In its core, it's about finding the balance between the past and the modern, the wild and civilization, and life and death. In this new modern night, times are changing. It's time to evolve or die. The stakes are even more desperate as new challenges arise. As a fan of World of Darkness games back in the day, Werewolf was always my game of choice, and I was especially excited when this new edition was announced. And that's 10 anticipated TTRPGs in 2021. Any of the games piqued your interest? Is there a game that didn't make it to this list that you're looking forward to this year? Well, let me know in the comment section below, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And would you kindly follow the socials posted in the description below. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.